Recap: the Wizard's Domain. The Black Mamba awakens. With wounds still fresh from the previous day's horrors, Bartleby, Basil, Momo, Neely, Scion, Randolph, and Tolver once again descended into the eerie silence of the Wizard's Domain. Ancient stone corridors stretched endlessly before them, every shadow threatening another magical death trap left behind by the long-gone wizard Arum. It didn't take long. As usual, Bartleby crept ahead, eyes scanning every crack in every suspicious stone. Before opening a heavy door leading into another hallway, he spotted the telltale signs of a magical trap. Rather than risking another explosion, Momo carefully examined the glowing rune and, with practiced precision, unraveled the spell before it could spring to life. The party breathed a sigh of relief. Perhaps today would be different. The dungeon quickly reminded them otherwise. Only a short time later, another trapped doorway greeted them. Confident after their earlier success, they prepared to open it. The instant the door swung inward, "Vash!" a thick emerald cloud erupted from the doorway like a dragon's breath. Poison engulfed the entire hallway. Basil disappeared inside the toxic mist almost instantly. Randolph barely managed to stagger backward before collapsing to one knee, choking and gasping for air as the poison burned through his lungs. The rest of the party rushed forward, dragging both companions out of the deadly cloud while coughing violently themselves. The poisonous gas continued pouring from the chamber, forcing everyone to retreat down the corridor until they slammed another stone door shut between themselves and certain death. Nobody argued. Nobody suggested pressing forward. Instead, bruised, coughing, and barely alive, they made camp in the hallway and spent the next hour tending wounds, catching their breath, and silently wondering just how many more ways this dungeon had planned to kill them. When they finally returned, the poisonous cloud had dissipated. Beyond the trapped doorway lay absolutely nothing. An empty chamber, several more doors, one impossibly sealed by ancient magic, the others just more empty rooms. The dungeon had nearly killed them, for absolutely no treasure whatsoever. Grumbling under their breath, the adventurers continued deeper into the labyrinth, hallway after hallway, door after door, until another quiet corridor stretched before them. Basil and Bartleby moved ahead, searching carefully for hidden traps. Then, movement. 4 pale figures slowly stepped from the darkness, the same horrifying undead they had escaped only days before. Their empty eyes glowed with unholy malice. Necrotic energy crackled through skeletal fingers. Without hesitation, the creatures charged. The hallway exploded into chaos. Dark bolts of death screamed through the air as the undead unleashed wave after wave of necrotic magic. Fireballs erupted down the corridor. Arrows flew. Daggers flashed. Swords clashed against rotting flesh. Neely became a blur of motion, striking with blazing fists that echoed like thunder through the stone passages. Basil danced in and out of the melee, blades finding every exposed weakness. Bartleby darted beneath grasping claws, driving precise sneak attacks wherever an opening appeared. Tolver unleashed ingenious magical devices while Momo answered spell for spell, filling the corridor with explosions of arcane fire. Scion hurled devastating magic, while Randolph's eldritch blast slammed into the advancing horrors again and again. Still, the undead would not stop. Every time the party retreated, the creatures pursued. Every doorway became another desperate stand, every hallway another battlefield. At one point, the adventurers attempted to slam a heavy stone door shut. The undead simply forced their way through. There would be no escape, only victory or death. The battle became one of pure endurance. One ghast fell, then another, then a third. The corridor was littered with smoking corpses and shattered stone. Only one remained. The last creature looked around at the destruction. Then, to everyone's surprise, it lowered its claws. "I yield," it rasped. "If you spare me, I shall lead you to the treasure you seek." Silence filled the hallway. No one trusted the creature. Yet, curiosity won. Following the ancient custom of the dungeon, each member of the party swore the power of 3, repeating their promise 3 times. Such an oath was no simple agreement. It was a binding covenant. To knowingly break it invited cosmic consequences beyond mortal understanding. Satisfied, the undead creature nodded. Without another word, it led them through twisting corridors until it stopped before the very magical door whose rune had resisted every attempt to bypass it. The creature calmly placed one decayed hand upon the glowing sigil. The rune faded, the ancient seal vanished, the door slowly creaked open. Beyond it, gold. Mountains of glittering treasure reflected the torchlight. An ancient altar stood at the center of the chamber. Resting upon it, one magnificent longsword, the blade shimmered with impossible beauty. Radiant magical energy danced across its edge as though the weapon itself were alive. Immediately, two voices echoed through the chamber. "I want it! No, I want it!" Randolph and Scion stared at one another. Neither intended to back down. So, with the fate of an ancient legendary weapon hanging in the balance, the mighty heroes settled the dispute with rock, paper, scissors. The others watched in stunned silence. One throw, two throws. Finally, Scion won. Stepping toward the altar, he slowly lifted the magnificent blade from its resting place. The weapon blazed with radiant power as it left the stone. Holding it high overhead, Scion declared before the entire party, "Its name shall be Black Mamba." The sword sang as it cut through the air, its edge seeming so impossibly sharp that even the empty space around it appeared to split before the blade. The undead creature watched in silence. Our bargain is fulfilled. Without another word, it turned, walked into the darkness, and disappeared forever among the endless halls of the wizard's domain. The party remained behind, surrounded by piles of ancient treasure, staring at the newly claimed legendary blade. For once, the dungeon had rewarded those brave or foolish enough to survive it. But in the world's largest dungeon, every gift comes with a price. And somewhere in the darkness, something had surely noticed that Black Mamba had found a new master.